Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. Hopefully all of you are doing well out there. I'm, of course, your host, World of Blitz, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Tier 7 French autoloading light tank, the AMX 1375. Now, this vehicle is actually very fun. I just picked it up about 10 or 20 minutes ago. I played one game in it just to see how it played out. I was like, you know what? I enjoyed this tank so much, I wanted to make a video on it. As you guys know, my favorite Tier 7 light in the game is the AMX 1357, and in fact, this is one of my favorite vehicles just in the game in general. It's got that 6-shell clip. It's really fun to drive around and annoy the enemy with. And while the AMX 1375 doesn't have that little quick clip that has 6 shells in it, it still does have an extremely deadly clip because this clip in 4 seconds is able to get out all 3 of the 160 alpha damage shots, which when you think about it is pretty dang deadly against any tier 6, tier 7, or even some tier 8 opponents because in 4 seconds you're able to get really quickly out of the way. That's one issue that I find with a lot of the clippers at tier 7, tier 8, especially like tier 10, the bat chat. One of the biggest issues currently with it is that it takes you 6 seconds to unload that entire clip. Plenty of time for the enemy to be able to aim at you and even shoot you sometimes, where 4 seconds is a massive buff when you think about it on the 1375. What that means is that you can get behind almost any heavy tanks and literally just unload your entire clip and get away from them, where you can't do that in most of the tier 7 vehicles. So here we go. We are on a tier 8 battle, and talking about tanks we can penetrate and can't, well, there's an issue with this tank, because the AMX 1375 is one of the issues I like to call tier 7 conundrum. Most tier 7 vehicles in the game, and this is something you'll always hear me say, is most tier 7 vehicles, honestly, are deadlier than tier 8s. Pretty much the average damage per minute for tier 7 tanks in the game is like 2400, and if you were to look at the average damage per minute for tier 8s, it's probably about 2200, 2100. And the reason for that being is because tier 7 vehicles carry the same guns that tier 6 tanks carry. And what that means is that they just get a buff in the damage per minute, but they don't have penetration. This gun here only carries 212 millimeters of pen, and that's even with calibrated on for the premium shells. That's a big issue. What that means that if I try to penetrate the front of that T2064, even the Lycan, the M6 Experimental, it's going to be actually an extremely hard penetration. So we got this T2065 here who looks to be AFK, which is of course perfect for me. There's a nice little clip right at the butt of that guy, and he did actually come back, but doesn't look like in time because we're going to try and get another clip right into the butt of this guy. Now I am noticing that Jagdpanther 2 is coming back, so we're going to start to run as quickly as possible, of course, as well. There's a nice little tap into you, and now we're going to try our best to get very quickly out of danger. So that was a nice little clip, and you can see we're getting out those shells in a really quick succession is something that's very important. So now the enemy team is probably trying to go take out the heavy tanks that have flanked, so I'm going to do the old switcheroo and now come up behind their team that is now trying to do with our team. So a little bit of a tricky situation here, but pretty much I'm just trying to flank the enemy that has flanked me. So here we go. Let's see what we can get some shots into. Well, there's a nice little tank. So let's get 1 shell into you, 2 shells. Oh, that's not a penetration. But as you'll notice, the enemy team apparently wants to shoot me more than the Jagdpanther over there. So now we have to run away from what is a very deadly lineup. So we've got the Jagdpanther off to the side here. And let's see if the Jagdpanther is aiming at us. No, it's not. So let's get 1 shell into the Jagdpanther. Let's get another shot into the Jag. There we go. Nice little taps into you. Now we can once again try to run away. The FE21 is probably going to get 1 shot into us. Ooh, we just managed to get away from that guy. That is one of the deadliest tanks, honestly, to fight. In especially the AMX, is that vehicle there, just because it's got such a crazy damage per minute. It's actually sitting at around 3,000 DPM. But while that vehicle is chasing me, of course, we have mobility on our side, which means we can very quickly run away from that guy and not really worry about him on the long run. Now, I do want to take him out very quickly, of course, because that is probably the deadliest tank on the team right now against me, just because 2 shells and I'm dead right off the bat. So here we go. Let's see if we can use our mobility. There's 1 nice tap into him. There's 2, and of course 1 more, and he's not going to be doing too healthy. That was a pretty quick way to take out a very healthy tier 7 medium, or it is kind of a medium, but more of a heavy tank, should I say. So there's the Lycan. We've also got the M6 off to the side. Nice little shot into you, and let's not deal with that Lycan again, because that Lycan carries a 122mm gun, able to pretty much one-shot me right off the course of the game. So let's see which way that Lycan is looking. Judging that that guy just lost 500 health, I'm guessing that Lycan just shot, but either way, it doesn't really matter because we were able to zip around the battlefield and come out with a victory, not even getting killed ourselves. So how much damage did we pull out that game? 2,400. Definitely a very respectable amount, especially for an AMX 1375. So, of course, let's get stuck into one more battle here. Hopefully keep up the good luck streak we've been having, because, yeah, when you play against tier 8s, this vehicle really is iffy, and that's the only problem I have with the tier 7 autoloaders, is against tier 8s, and constantly I'm getting up-tiered when I play tier 7 for some reason, but the issue with a tier 7 light tank is that while it does spot the enemy, the guns aren't spectacular, and they can't really kill a tier 8 vehicle that quickly. Like a T-34 Falcon, since my clip does, we'll say, about 500 damage on average, it's going to take me about 4 clips of all penetrating shots to take out a T-34, while that guy just takes 3 simple shots on me that every time are easily going to penetrate. So it's just way harder for the AMX, and it's also tricky to even penetrate your shots in a vehicle like this to really get out those game-changing damage numbers. So I have spotted that AMX CDC, which of course is good. We also got that 49 spotted. That's another issue, is when you are spotting vehicles in a tier 7 light tank, you got to worry about that vehicle right there, the T-49. You also have to worry sometimes about tanks like the SU-152, you know, because this tank only has 1,060 hit points, which means that I am in the range of a one-shot for a tank like the Smasher, the SU-152, the ISU. Pretty much any 150 in the game, I am a one-shot capable. So yeah, you got to be very careful again when running a tank like the AMX, just in case you don't want to get one-shotted right out of the beginning. So there's the AMX, and a beautiful shot, as you can see, from the from my AMX 1375 there. But thankfully, we actually hit 2 high rolls there. We could have done about 500 damage with that clip, but sadly, sometimes shots just don't want to necessarily all connect. Now that CDC looks like it's maybe backing up. I don't know if we'll be able to get another shot in. Doesn't look like it. That Helsing is actually trying to spot, it would seem, but I kind of want to get shots into that Tankenstein if we can. There is a bit of an issue with this vehicle, which is the, let's just see if we can get a shot into you. Of course, though, you can see a big, massive shell, even though he wasn't looking at us right off the bat, going right into our tank as well. So again, this vehicle does have its weaknesses. The armor is definitely one of the bigger ones. Again, that gun dispersion as well, you'll see, not necessarily the best. We could have killed that T-49 if one of our shells had hit him there at the beginning, but thankfully, we have a team, something that you always want to stick with when running a tank like this. You can't run this vehicle alone. It's just not really plausible. But there you go. Nice little tap into the CDC using our auto-aim. And just being tapped by 2 vehicles on the enemy team, we're already down to half of our original hit points. So yeah, I got to be very careful again on how I share my HP in this game here, but let's see if we can get a shot into the butt of this Cheeto. Oh, you'll notice another issue on this vehicle, which is the, it's the gun elevation, something you normally don't have an issue with. This tank really struggles with there. Again, though, it's kind of struggling. It's not necessarily the tank's fault. It's just that it's really struggling to get out some of these shells because of that gun elevation there. That's one issue with Clippers in general, is they have that big boxy turret design that really lets them down when they're trying to aim up on people. Now, I'm going to knock down this tree, which hopefully is going to give me cover from that Tiger if it pulls around the corner here, which is, of course, the plan in a nutshell. We're going to load in premium shells, and there we go. That's the Tiger. Let's see if we can get 1 shell in. There's the Cheeto as well, though, actually tracking him, which, of course, is something that I wanted to do. And now we're going to try and run away. That shell did hurt quite a bit, though, but run away. Don't hit me. Yes. Okay, that is perfect for me. Perfect shot from the M4 Rev. I'm just trying to kind of bait the team right now, which, of course, is working. If you can bait the team into shooting at you, it's something that you really want to do in a vehicle like the AMX. Again, this Tiger's just kind of looking at me right now, which is giving my team a very easy advantage to get shots into the Tiger. So there we go. Nice little shot from my teammate into the Tiger, and a nice little high roll into the side of the Tiger as well, and that was some good teamwork again. So that's one thing you can, of course, always do in a vehicle like the AMX is, for some reason, people just love to target the light tanks, and it does a great job, especially in a vehicle like the AMX. It's just baiting shots from the enemy. So let's see if we can get another shell into that Tankenstein. We're not doing the craziest amount of damage this battle, but you know what? I'm doing the best I can, of course. This clip really isn't the best for getting out damage, as we know. So there's 1 shell into the side of that Tankenstein. There's 2. And are we going to be able to get 1 more out? Yes we are. Nice little max roll as well for 200. So even though this game we did the best we could, we still try to get out a crazy amount of damage, still only getting out 2,500. But as I said, that's one of the issues with the AMX, is it's good, but it's also bad. It's got a couple issues as well. The gun elevation. What is the gun elevation on this vehicle? It's sitting at 6, which is awful when you do think about it. As you saw there, I really struggle to even shoot people just a little bit above me. So there are a couple issues with this tank, but honestly, I really do enjoy playing it. Now, I will still say the favorite tank out of my entire line for the bat chat is the AMX 1390. It's got a big gun, 225 damage per shot, able to deal an RHM's damage worth in a matter of 5 seconds. So I actually love the AMX 1390. It's a tier 8 as well. I think tier 8 vehicles are great for the penetration it has at 260 on the premium. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below if you agree with me on my opinion or you disagree. But of course, if you enjoyed today's video, please don't mind smashing that subscribe button down below. But other than that, hope you're all doing well out there. Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.